treasure!
Welcome back,
Hello.
everyone! Welcome back! So today we have a really fun story to tell you. It's a true story, and it is not one we've experienced, but it is
not.
No.
We've heard it told many times.
We have, yes. So this is a story that, something that happened to our mom many years ago, and we're just going to be telling it in a story fashion way.
It's story time today.
It is.
You
It's
didn't
story
know
time.
you tuned in for story time? It's exciting.
Yes. So, we're just going to be telling the story, and then we hope you enjoy it. So, let's go back to the year of 1987, when Michael Jackson was moonwalking across the earth. The internet did not exist, and huge feathered hair was in. Yes. Very in. More specifically, picture a white brick and gray wood middle-class house on a short street with trees lining the sidewalk. Trees. The house is a small front and backyard with two handprints painted gray on the front of the house made by two young boys in the 1960s. 60-some years later, these handprints are still there, plastered on the front wall next to the front door. This is our mom's childhood home, which our grandfather and aunt still live there today. The house was usually very lively, as our mom was and is the youngest of 7 children.
Always
very,
lively.
Very, very lively. Though, at this point when the story happens, a lot of her older brothers and sisters had moved out at this point. When you walk in, there's a living room to the right, and to the left there's stairs that go up to the bedrooms. Further in, there's a dining room and a small kitchen that leads to the basement. Now that you've got the layout of the house and the street in your head, our story can begin.
It's a warm summer night in 1987, and our 17-year-old mom is home alone. No one can remember where the rest of her family was, so we can conclude that they were doing, well, something. They were definitely not at the movies watching Mrs. Doubtfire. We know that for sure. As we were saying, our mom is home alone, sitting upstairs in her room when she realized she had a yearning for a hoagie. So she picked up one extension of the family's cream-colored rotary phone and called a local pizza shop called Luigi's for a hoagie to be delivered. As she waited, she called her still very close friend to this day to chat. Let's call her Jennifer for privacy's sake. As she was laying in her bed talking with Jennifer, she realized it was taking a very long time for her hoagie to get there. Almost an hour. What? A long time to wait for the longing of a hoagie. Well, a few minutes later, around 9 p.m., she finally heard the doorbell ring. Famished, she ran down to get her delicious hoagie.
When she opened the door, a young man with short brown hair, 6 feet tall, and around the age of 20, was standing at her door with her hoagie in hand. For a moment, he just stood there, staring at her, with a very surprised expression on his face. Finally, he said, "Oh, it's you." Since her mom had never met this man before in her life, she answered very confused, "Huh? Yeah, it's me?" He never responded. He just stood there, swaying back and forth on his feet. Still confused, a few minutes later, our mom gave him the money, he gave her the hoagie, and she said thank you and closed the door. Once she had closed the door, she wished she had asked him who he was and why he had said that, but it was too late now.
Too late.
So she took her long-awaited hoagie up to her room and continued to talk with Jennifer, who had still been on the phone the whole time upstairs, and she told her about the strange man with the hoagie.
About 15 minutes later, still on the phone with Jennifer, she heard the sound of the other extension of the family's phone being picked up downstairs. Someone was listening, not making a sound. Now, you must remember, they were all out, definitely not watching Mrs. Doubtfire at the movies, so no one was home. Our mom, nervous, said to the downstairs phone, "Hello? Who's there?" No answer. She then heard the downstairs phone click. Whoever was there had just put down the phone. Even more uneasy, our mom creeped down the stairs, just far enough to hear, but not be seen. She yelled, "Hello? Who's home? Anyone there?" Still nothing. Scared, our mom ran back upstairs to her room and explained the situation to Jennifer. Just at that moment, she heard the beep of call waiting, so she took the call. It was her brother's friend, Let's say Jim. He asked our mom if her brother was home, and she said he was not.
Before Jim hung up, she told Jim about the Hoagie Man and how someone had been on the downstairs extension. She then asked if he would be willing to come over and check around the house a little bit. The 20-something-year-old was more than eager, as he thought our mom was just hearing things, and being his friend's sister's hero sounded like a whole lot of fun to him. So he enthusiastically said, "Sure, I'll be right over." A few minutes later, the excited young man was at our mom's front door, weapon in hand. His weapon of choice? A black umbrella.
Of course.
No matter if he had had a feather or an AK-47, our mom felt much better that Jim was there to save the day. So, Jim came in, umbrella in hand, and started searching the house. Jennifer was still on the line upstairs, as our mom followed closely behind Jim. They looked in the bathroom, the dining room, the closets, and more. They finally got to the kitchen, still not finding anyone. Jim then said, "I'll go down in the basement, and you can stay up here," still thinking it was a fun hero game.
Jim started down the stairs, and once he got a fourth of the way down, he and our mom heard the loud sounds of running footsteps
Boom, 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 boom.
and the basement door banging open. Jim turned to face back to our mom, white as a sheet. Realizing that our mom had actually heard something, a few moments later he said shakily, "I'll go check." Our mom responded with, "Oh no, you don't have to," but he insisted. When he came back up, he said that the door had been wide open and whoever had been there was gone. After Jim left, our mom ran back upstairs, scared out of her wits, to tell Jennifer the whole thing. No one ever found out who had come into the house, but after the way he acted and what he said, our mom is pretty sure it was the Hoagie Man who broke in.
So that is our mom's true story.
True
And
story.
Yes,
It happened.
yes.
So slightly terrifying.
So someone did actually break in, and she thinks it was the Hoagie Man because of the way he said, "Oh, it's you," like he was expecting someone different there.
Very strange.
Or- It was
Strange
really
behavior
weird.
from a Hoagie Man.
Yeah.
They should never be asking you or saying, "Oh, it's you."
Yeah, very strange. But we hope you enjoyed this story about our mom and the Hoagie Man. And now it is time for the news.
Hello, and thanks for joining us. Lions have recently jumped on the food ordering train and have begun using the ever-popular app Uber Eats. Right now, their favorite things on the menu are zebra, gazelle, and warthog. There have been some slight issues with the delivery men being eaten while delivering these to the lions, but they hope to resolve this pretty soon.
There's recently been a rise in warthogs and zebras working as delivery people for Uber Eats. But for some reason, the turnover rate is extremely high. And now it is time for the Taylor Treasure Box.
Sometimes, you know what? You do get a hankering for a hoagie. You know, sometimes you just need a hoagie.
I really want one.
Okay, tell a random fact about yourself.
Okay. This is a would you rather. Would you rather always have to say everything on your mind or never be able to talk at all?
Ooh.
Oh boy, both would be hard. I guess not talk at all, because I wouldn't want everybody to hear everything in my mind all the time. And I could just, learn Braille or whatever. Not Braille. Sorry, that's if you're blind. That's if you're blind. Sorry, that's not what I meant. If I was mute, I could figure out ways to communicate, but I really wouldn't want everybody to know.
Sign language.
Yeah. Sign language. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Random fact about myself. My favorite aisle in any store is the office supply section.
Okie dokie.
Yes.
All right.
That's where I end up every time. It's my favorite. I love office supplies. I mean, the pens, the little Post-it notes, it's just...
Yeah,
it's
so much
amazing.
fun.
I love that aisle.
I love that. What is my favorite aisle? I've probably like the clothes. Well, what kind of store are you talking about here? Like any store?
Well, any store that has an office supply section, which would be like, a Target, Walmart, or whatever.
Mine would be shoes. I like shoes a lot. Be my
Yes,
favorite
you do.
aisle. Yep,
You do like shoes.
I do. So we hope you enjoyed this episode.
Thanks for joining us for story time today.
Thank you. Yeah, and if you would like us to tell any more stories, comment down below. See if you want to make sure you like this kind of format with the stories. And you can also give this video a like and a comment, and you can subscribe. And after you subscribe, you can press the bell to get all of our videos in your notifications box. You can also follow us on Instagram at Taylor Treasures Official, and also at Taylor Treasures Official on Facebook. And we'll see you next time.
Options. Lots of things you can do.
Lots. And we'll see you next time.
Bye!
Hey guys, thanks for watching that episode.
Thank you.
If you'd like to subscribe down
So,
here,
do you think a hoagie is a sandwich?
Is it a sandwich? I think it is.
Do you think... Because they call it a Subway sandwich. They don't call it a Subway hoagie. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah. But it's...
So...
See, people talk about hot dogs can't be called a sandwich because they go this way. But if a sandwich goes this way, then it is a sandwich. And they do go that way.
But then why is it called a hoagie? Why don't you just call it a sandwich?
I don't know. This is a strange thing. But anyways, you can subscribe right here if you want to
do that.
subscribe.
You can please subscribe. And if you want to watch an episode, why don't you click right over
You
here?
can click right here and you can check out our channel and all sorts of stuff. And we'll see you next time.
Bye!